biggest threats facing organisations is phishing emails. These are emails that are crafted to trick people into handing over sensitive information. It could be payment details. More often than not, it will be login credentials, say for remote working portals, remote access portals, email accounts. A big issue we find nowadays in particular is business email compromise. This involves stealing credentials for somebody's work email account, so it can then be used to distribute things like more malware. Fraudulent invoices, obviously quite a common one as well.
Cyber criminals don't care who they target, and a lot of the time it's bad luck of the recipient who perhaps falls for a phishing email. When we're talking about phishing emails, these haven't hugely changed in the last couple of years, but more recently we've seen a huge change in the makeup of phishing emails, more recently using COVID-19 as a hook. But criminals will use any current event as a hook.
The trend with things like phishing emails is a sense of urgency or fear. Cyber criminals will try to exploit our human emotions to get us to act against our better judgment. A common one, for example, would be that there's been some fraudulent activity on your bank account or your email account, and you need to log in quickly to rectify the issue. Other ones we see are online shopping accounts. For example, somebody's made a purchase on your account. If you log in quickly, you'll be able to stop this payment before it goes through. The idea being, of course, that you panic and you submit your email address and your password. You're not actually logging into the account. All you're doing is providing the criminal or the fraudster with your login credentials for that account. On the flip side of it, also we see people trying to exploit happiness or joy. Probably a bit less successfully so with these ones, but we see emails that say maybe you've won the Spanish lottery or something like that, and you need to pay a small payment to release the funds into your account. Basically, human emotion is what criminals will try to exploit to get us to act against our better judgment.
Ransomware is a type of malware that is used by cybercriminals to lock your files down and prevent you from accessing them. This can make continuing to work particularly difficult. Symptoms of a ransomware attack may be that your machine is running slowly, that file names are changing, or that file extensions are changing. There may also be a ransom note appear on your computer, and the National Crime Agency generally recommends that you do not pay these ransoms, as there is no guarantee that you will get your files back. If you do notice any of these things, it's critical that you inform your IT department as soon as possible.
Okay, some common features of phishing attacks. Many of them will originate from overseas, so often the spelling, the grammar, the punctuation could be poor. Others will also try and create official looking emails by including company logos and graphics. So think about it, is the design and the quality of what you'd expect from a large organization? Is the email addressed to you by name, or does it refer to you as valued customer, dear friend, good day? This can also be a sign that the sender doesn't actually know you, and this is in fact part of a phishing scam. Does the email contain a veiled threat that asks you to act urgently? Be really suspicious of words like send these details within 24 hours or a limited time period, or things like click here immediately. Always look out for emails that appear to come from a high-ranking person within your organization requesting payment to be made to a particular bank account. Look at the sender's name. Does it sound legitimate, or is it trying to mimic someone that you know? Often cyber criminals will spoof email addresses and change letters around to make it look like an official account, when in reality it is a fraudulent account it's coming from.
One thing we can do to get to the bottom of it is to look into the email address at the top. And often you'll see a bar that says see more or expand. If you click on that, you'll see the email address that the email claims to come from. And next to that, you'll see the actual email address that a fraudulent email is sent from. And more often than not, they're wildly different. This is one of the key things we can do to look for a fraudulent email. Another thing we can do is hover our mouse over any buttons or links in that email. If a little box pops up either in the middle of your page or at the bottom, check the URL. Does it look like the website you'd expect to be sent to, or does it look completely different again? These are two of the best things to keep an eye out for with phishing emails.
A key thing to understand about phishing attacks is that the cybercriminal is trying to exploit your workforce and exploit human weakness. The best way to help mitigate this is to train your workforce to recognize what a phishing attack may look like. And a great way to do that is to run simulated phishing attacks against your workforce so that they can understand what a phishing attempt may look like and then go through the motions of reporting it to the IT department. One of the best ways to help protect against ransomware is to make sure that all of your data is fully backed up in a separate location and on a separate network, as a key feature of ransomware is that the cyber criminals are trying to prevent you from accessing your information and make you pay to access it in the future. Another thing you may want to consider is keeping your devices fully up to date to prevent any common malware exploits being used, and also that all your staff are fully trained to recognize the symptoms of a ransomware attack and also to recognize phishing attempts, as this is one of the most common ways in which ransomware is deployed.
One of the best websites we like to recommend is the National Cyber Security Centre. Their website is www.ncsc.gov.uk. On there, you'll find plenty of information for small to medium enterprises, large organisations, public sector bodies, even community groups. And they've also got a section now specifically for individuals under their banner of Cyber Aware. For small organisations, you'll find an e-learning package that you can download and embed into your own e-learning environment. And this walks your staff through the basics of cybersecurity, what they should and shouldn't be doing and things they should be looking out for. There's also a lot of resources that you can download and print, PDF documents, small business guide, the response and recovery guide as well. All these things can help you stay safe in the first place and respond to a cyber incident if you are unfortunate enough to fall victim to one.
You need to follow your local cyber protect officers through their social media channels. In our case, we're on Instagram and Twitter at DC_cyberprotect. For individuals, we'd recommend looking at Cyber Aware. They provide more general advice on staying safe online. But ultimately, it's really just about you getting the basics right and then sharing the knowledge within your organisation.